Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is Game On. And that is because when you say game on, that implies that there can be fierce competition among opposing forces. And that could be occurring right now. And that is because there can be a lot of groups around that have very different viewpoints or priorities. And so they could be competing with each other. But let's have the good news first. And the good news is that there are 5 planets in the practical, realistic, cost-effective earth signs right now, and they are harmoniously trining each other, which means their energy can flow unrestricted in a very helpful way. So Venus and Mars are conjuncting each other in Virgo, and Mercury, the ruler of the sign, is there as well. And those 3 planets are trining the Moon and Pluto today in Capricorn. And together those 5 planets are all trining the sign of Taurus. So this really good emphasis in the earth signs can reinforce the idea that we can find solutions right now to financial, business, work, or health issues. So that is very positive. But remember, I said it's game on because of opposing forces. And that is true because there are also 5 planets in a harsh T-cross among the mutable signs. So that same Mars and Venus and Mercury in Virgo are being harshly squared by Saturn in Sagittarius, and they're also being opposed by Neptune in Pisces. The harsh aspect among these 5 planets is an indication that there can be people around that are really not getting along or who can be arguing, and that's because they have different viewpoints and priorities. Or they could have hidden agendas. They could be deceitful. They could be very self-interested. In other words, asking themselves, oh, well, what's in it for me? And so they could be coming from a rather narrow viewpoint. Or it can just be that all of this added together is an indication that hidden agendas right now can really complicate matters. So we have to consider that. On top of that, tomorrow, a major planet changes direction. It's going to stay in the sign for a while, but it is not going to be retrograde anymore. Pluto will actually be going direct tomorrow in Capricorn, where the moon still is. And so that is an indication, since Pluto rules powerful people in management in large corporations or government agencies, that power players can be deciding on important policy changes or on really making their influence felt right now. So we have to take that into account. And then, speaking of opposing forces, there is another harsh T-cross among cardinal signs, which also involves 5 planets, because now the Sun and Jupiter are both in Libra, and they are squaring that Moon and Pluto in Capricorn. So the lights are squaring each other, which can lead to indecision or confusion. On top of that, the Sun and Jupiter in Libra are opposing Uranus in Aries. Those are the 5 planets. But Uranus is at 27 degrees and Jupiter in Libra is at 27 degrees. 27 is a number that reduces to 9, a finishing number. And an opposition is a separating aspect. So there can be some things that are sort of winding up or finishing as well, or there can even be the threat of some sort of separation. And so what that means is that under this harsh T-cross in cardinal signs, there can be a lot of people that are simply standing their ground, and they are refusing to compromise or find a middle ground at all. And so that can lead to a stalemate at times, because if you refuse to compromise, you're not going to win, but neither is anybody else. So that can be a lot to put up with right now. That's why it's game on, because there are so many different forces or viewpoints that can be expressed right now. So what will the outcome be of all of this? Well, for sure, nobody wins if they have hidden agendas or are making power plays or are deceitful or are refusing to compromise in any way. Those are all no-win situations. So what is left? Well, that harmonious trine in the earth signs. Because after all, it does involve five planets, half of all the planets in the heavens. And so I think since Venus and Mars and Mercury are in Virgo, trining the moon, and Pluto in Capricorn, particularly after tomorrow when Pluto goes direct and becomes much stronger as it moves forward in that sign, and all of them are trining the sign of Taurus as well. I think that there can be an impasse that is concluded or finished in some way. In other words, we get over an impasse because something can move forward right now, but it would be based solely on affordability. And that's all it's going to be based on. If something is affordable, it will move forward because there's enough people that are being realistic and practical and concerned with costs right now that if they come up with an idea that is affordable, I think it will go through, that there is enough backing for that right now. So I think that is what's going to win. So if you're on one side or another, I think the game's going to win only because we start looking at budgets and what is affordable, and that is what we can go with. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that there is some sort of finish or culmination or separation possible in your life, and it would be in your personal life. And that is because now the sun is in Libra along with Jupiter, and both of them are opposing Uranus in your sign, and Jupiter is doing that exactly. And also the moon and Pluto are squaring your sun sign as well. So you could be affected by budget cuts or by powerful people who are changing policies, or they could be changing management, and that could affect you in your work life. Or else in a personal way, there can be a partnership issue or some sort of legal issue that culminates in some way. I don't necessarily mean that that's a bad thing, but it can mean that one phase is over and another phase is going to begin, or else people will just part, and maybe that'll end it that way. Maybe they'll just quit talking and give up. But you may be affected by all of that, Aries, and so my suggestion to you is to slow down a little bit, and that won't be too hard for you because there aren't as many planets in fire signs anymore. There's only one trining your sun, and that's Saturn, and that Saturn is beleaguered right now and can't be of much help to you. So my advice to you this week is really go slow, Aries, and just be as cautious as you can. That way, you won't be able to experience any extreme reactions or extreme changes. And I think that you'll be able to handle it better if there are no extremes in your life right now, but simply something gentle that happens that might be a little disturbing, but not catastrophic. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is wonderful for you. And that is because all 5 planets in the earth signs are all trining your sun sign. And so Venus, your own ruler, and Mars and Mercury in Virgo are trining your sun sign, which means you can be very popular right now. And also the moon and Pluto in Capricorn are trining your sun, and Pluto will go direct tomorrow. And so if there are changes or power players that make their influence felt right now, I think that's going to do you some good, Taurus. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain right now by really paying attention to practical matters and to your investments and to work and health issues, which can improve right now. And another reason why they can improve is there are no planets in any of the fixed signs. So for Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, there's absolutely nothing stopping you or challenging you. So my hat's off to you, Taurus. I think that this is a time for you to focus on something that is serious and that can be very rewarding over time, and really go for it. This is your chance. So I hope you don't dawdle, and that you really focus in on things that maybe can be challenging, but can be very rewarding as well. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, it can be hard on you because there are 5 planets in the mutable signs all squaring and opposing your sun. So yes, there are people still challenging you on all sides, Gemini. But there are also more people that are starting to agree with you and are starting to adapt to your viewpoints. And that is because the sun has now come into Libra and it is joining Jupiter there. So you really have the law on your side. And more people are beginning to share your point of view, or they are beginning to want to compromise in some way, and so they can be more adaptable. And this is giving you a lot of more support, and it can also cheer you up a little bit, so that you know that there are more people sort of in your corner, Gemini. And so I don't think that you have to be worried about the people that are challenging you, because remember, since it's game on, there will be conflicting or opposing forces. But you do not have to step in the middle of all of them, Gemini. You have some very good support of your own, and I would stick to that instead. And it means that you can be more popular. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, remember there are 5 planets in cardinal signs in a T-cross, and they are all squaring and opposing each other. But they are not all troublesome to you, Cancer, and that is because the Sun and Jupiter now are in Libra, and when Jupiter is squaring a person's sun sign, such as it is with you, it simply means that you could be a little bit too extravagant. Well, now that the Sun is in Libra, squaring your sun sign as well, you could be very extravagant. So you do have to watch the purse strings, Cancer, because you could be feeling very generous. You may be wanting to spend more money on your home or on your family members. You could be starting to do your Christmas shopping early, and so you could be in a very generous mood. You also can be thrown off balance again by surprising changes, because Uranus in Aries is squaring your sun. But I think you're used to that. That's been going on for years. So I think you've become conditioned to surprising changes. The thing that can affect you, and perhaps even adversely, is that the Moon and Pluto, which is going to go direct tomorrow in Capricorn, are both opposing your sun sign. And the Moon is your own ruler, Cancer. So there is a business matter, or there even could be a financial matter, but I think it's business or work or career oriented. And it might involve budget cuts or realignment of budgets, and that could somewhat adversely affect you. And so if it does adversely affect you, I just want to remind you that this is a year when you can afford to end something, and also this is a time when there's going to be more money in your pocket this fall. It might be because you retire. It might be because you cash in some investments. It might be because you sell something. But Jupiter is coming into Scorpio on October 11th, and it will trine your sun for a whole year, Cancer. So despite any career setbacks, the rest of the year can look very promising for you. So don't worry about that too much. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when there may not be as much going on in your life as you would like. After all, Leos like action, and they like to be more or less the center of attention. But actually, there's only 2 planets in the fire signs, and they're both beleaguered right now. So although Saturn is trining your sun in Sagittarius and Uranus in Aries is trining your sun, they are both they have troubles of their own. So you aren't going to be receiving the backup from old friends that you have enjoyed in the past. And that's why I think your life can be a little bit quieter right now. But if Leos like to win, and it does rule sports. So if it's game on right now, and people are having conflicting opinions because they have different viewpoints and priorities, you may decide not to get involved with that and not to take different sides, but instead move forward yourself, but taking smaller steps. that is certainly possible. Venus and Mars and Mercury are all in Virgo, right ahead of your sun sign. And so if you're paying a little bit closer attention to just improving your health a little bit, or in improving your bank account a little bit, maybe by cutting costs instead, or reducing your spending a little bit, that can all add up after a while, and you can still be successful, Leo. But if you're wanting to be very extravagant and make a big show of something, I think this is not quite the time, and I don't think you're ready for that either. So I wouldn't contemplate being premature on anything right now, Leo. Instead, just take one step at a time and make them small steps for right now, because that is actually very well favored for everyone. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, with Venus and Mars conjuncting in your sign, you could be very popular, but you could also be wanting to do something about that. So you could have your mind on love and marriage, or love and some sort of partnership. And also you could be in some sort of mode where you are having to not wheel and deal, but having to negotiate for things. And so you'd have to give a little and take a little, and you could be in that mode as you're trying to succeed, and that would be fine. But Mercury is also in your sign, and all three of those planets are being beautifully trined by the Moon and Pluto in Capricorn. So yes, you are the person that's got really good ideas and really good answers, and you can come up with solutions to financial, business, work, or health issues right now, Virgo, and you could do that in your own careful way. What you're especially good at is accounting. So you are a person that always knows where every penny is, and that is perhaps something that you can work on very beneficially now to improve your long-term security, which is what Capricorn rules. It could also improve your career. So I think that you should really go at those things, because those things are emphasized very positively right now. So do your best. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when you really do have something extra going for you, and that's because the sun has just come into your sign and it is joining Jupiter there. That is wonderful. That means you're probably going to have a real good wrap up to the end of this year's stay of Jupiter in your sun sign, which is good. So you could sort of be finishing Jupiter's sojourn on a high note right now. And that means that maybe you will be getting some of the things that you want. It can be that legal matters do work out favorably for you, or partnership issues can straighten out. And so I don't think you have as much to worry about in that realm. It is simply that the Moon and Pluto are squaring the Sun and Jupiter in your sign, and from Capricorn, and Capricorn rules your career. And so that is an area where there can be doubt or confusion or indecision right now. So I'm not saying that everything is perfect in your life, Libra, but with both the Sun and Jupiter in your sign, you can almost do no wrong. And so I think you really need to put your best foot forward right now and really go for shining in a way that will help you increase your popularity and your public career or your public reputation. Really put on a good show right now, Libra, and get out among them while you are looking and acting your best. It'll do you a lot of good. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, it's wonderful that there are no planets in any of the fixed signs, because it means that there's really nothing seriously challenging you, Scorpio. And in fact, this is an absolutely wonderful time for you to count your blessings and thank your lucky stars for wherever you are right now. And the reason why is that there's nothing really coming at you harshly, and your rulers, Mars and Pluto, are trining each other, which is an indication there can be a little bit better credit for you, or there can be the possibility of grants or an inheritance or better insurance terms. And also there can be some a way of money coming in from you buying or selling something, and particularly if it's real estate. So all of those things can work out favorably for you. And although there's nothing in your sun sign at all, it simply means that if this is a quiet time for you, Scorpio, it is a time that you can feel blessed. And so this is a time for you to count your blessings, because you've got them, Scorpio. And this is a time when you can prepare to enlarge your sphere of influence in one way or another. And I hope it's by doing something that will help make a private wish or dream of yours come true, because Jupiter is coming into your sign on October 11th, and it's going to stay there for a whole year. So your life will expand. But I hope you expand it in a way that will give you further contentment and blessings. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, this is a time when you can be forced or pressured to make some sort of decision. And remember, it's game on, because there are people with conflicting opinions and different viewpoints and priorities that are sort of coming up against each other. You can feel the pressure from that. And because Saturn is in your sign and it's a planet of stability, you can be thinking that you have to react in the same old way that you have been reacting for the last few years. And I'm happy to say that Saturn will be leaving by December 20th. And so some burden will be lifted from your shoulders, Sagittarius. And if I were you, I would sure look forward now to better days, because they will be here. Saturn is only in a person's sun sign once every 28 to 30 years. So some of the doubt and the fatigue and even the depression and the heavy burdens that you've been carrying will disappear, and they're going to be gone for a long time. So better days are ahead, Sagittarius, and that's why I hope you look forward and you don't get caught up in controversy right now. Don't let that bog you down. Just look for better days that will be coming by the first of the year. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, the moon and Pluto are in your sign, and Pluto will go direct tomorrow, and that will make you feel more sure of yourself and more powerful, which is good. And also Venus, Mars, and Mercury in Virgo are trining your sun. So as long as you stick to what is affordable, you will be doing just fine, Capricorn. And so that means that you might have a champagne taste, but you might be living on a beer budget, and yet you can still live a really good life as long as you pare down your needs and readjust them to fit your budget. And this is a wonderful time to do that. So, you know, you don't have to have everything in the world, Capricorn. You just have to live a simple and somewhat serene lifestyle, and you can really do that. You can afford that. You may not be able to afford things that have gone up precipitously in price. So, okay, forget those. But you can still enjoy a lifestyle that pleases you very much if you just pare down to things that are really affordable right now. And you're good at doing that. So I think you're going to succeed. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, you can be more popular now, and that is because the sun is in Libra as well as Jupiter, and they're both trining your sun sign. And that means that there can be people that are even bringing you very good suggestions right now. Maybe they have different viewpoints and different priorities, but still they can be bringing you some pretty good ideas that you might want to act on, Aquarius, that could represent good opportunities for your future. And I think that that's entirely possible. So I think you should be getting out and mixing and mingling and socializing right now, Aquarius. And even if you meet perfect strangers, they could have wonderful ideas for you that would really help you and bring you peace. And that would be peace of mind. And so I think that this is a time when you should try to really get out there and explore things, because the possibilities to expand your life are very good right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, Remember, I said there are 5 planets in the mutable signs in a harsh T-cross, and that means that Venus, Mars, and Mercury in Virgo are all opposing Neptune in your own sun sign, and Saturn in Sagittarius is squaring it. And there aren't any planets in the other water signs. So you too can be feeling pressure from opposing forces that have different viewpoints and priorities. And so not everyone's on the same page that you're on, Pisces. And that means that I think you're going to have to settle for less right now. In other words, if there's some sort of change in your life, I don't think that you're going to be able really to go forward and enlarge it in some way. Instead, I think you're going to have to maybe reduce your budget or reduce your lifestyle or get a lot more practical about what is affordable and stick with that. And if you need to augment your income in any way, then you'll have to sort of settle for less or take what you can at the moment, but you don't need to do that for too long. It's just that I think that's what's possible right now. The only thing that is going to win is being practical, realistic, and going with things that are affordable. That is the bottom line right now, Pisces, so I think that's what you're going to have to really look at. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in. You can see our show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org.